Hello, hello. We are in another episode of guided neighborhood tours of Guanajuato. Today, this video is starting in the main Centro of Guanajuato, right by Teatro Juárez and Jardín Unión. And all this area pretty much is mostly businesses, restaurants, coffees, stores, museums. So I'm gonna take you to the neighborhood, so to speak, because this is where people live in the callejones. And I'm gonna show you, like, when people ask for a house in downtown Guanajuato, this is what you would expect to find. And this street that we're gonna bump into is called Alonso, and this is right behind Teatro Juárez. This is a tunnel, comes from this area, and this is the only car access that you have right near or right next to Teatro Juárez. And I'm gonna go that way through the callejones, and then I'm gonna circle around and end up here so that you can see the neighborhood. There's usually this can get really crowded because you have a primary school right here on the corner. So the access to get here around like 12:30 p.m. all the way to like 1:30 is gonna be packed with cars. And if there's any event in downtown, like the other day we had this movie being filmed in Centro, and it was chaos because this is the streets that usually they close, like for festivals like the Day of the Dead or parades, or like when filming a commercial or a movie or whatever. This is exactly where it will get closed. So even if you get to live in Centro, access by car can be a little bit tricky. So that's something to take into account. This building right here is a parking lot. It's public, so you can pay a fee. And we are going up this callejón called Constancia, and this is pretty much the residential area right in Centro. Another thing to keep in mind is that many times these callejones are used by the Estudiantina. If you have been here in Guanajuato, there's groups, like music groups, and Estudiantina is, you can recognize them because they use like these outfits, like the guys is like velvet and is shorts, and they have tights, so it's like an old outfit. And this is the streets they use, and tourists pay for, it's called la Callejoneada because they go through the callejones, and la Estudiantina sings. It's like entertainment, and that's another thing to keep in mind. You will have a lot of noise, and usually they make a stop here in this plaza, and this is where they sing. So is very important to keep in mind, like the level of noise, and that's all year long. All year long, that's another thing that can be, it's not the best option, because maybe you don't have as much noise from the traffic of cars, but you will have all the Callejoneadas, the Estudiantinas. And the story with the Estudiantinas is they originated with students that had like a side job to support themselves for school. And what they did was to sing and get some money. And it's a long tradition here in Guanajuato. So many of these houses that you see here, some are Airbnbs, some are student houses, some others are still like the families, like the original owners still live here. So these are all properties, and in probably like 90% of the cases you will have to invest a lot of money to remodel. And like I mentioned before in one of our videos, you need to take into account the cost of bringing up and down all the materials, everything that is removed from the property, all like the debris. Also you need to pay to remove it from the property. When there's houses that have already been remodeled in this area, is usually where you will find mostly very expensive houses, or like maybe around over 350, 400, because somebody already took the time to remodel, and pretty much that's what they are charging you. Like all the issues they had to face. And many people, especially women, don't like callejones because they can be like this, very quiet, and there's a lot of like hiding spots, so people get nervous. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And this area is really protected, the authorities, because it's full with students and tourists. Usually there's a lot of police presence here in these areas. Now we are like almost getting back to the main street, which is going to be Alonso. I'm gonna take you this way too. This is a one-way street, and this one comes all the way up from Panoramica to Centro. And this is another way to get into Centro, but it's very, like in some stretches, this road can get really narrow. So this is where you need to put to the test your driving skills. And more callejones. I'm gonna go down this callejón called Calixto, but I just wanted to point out that right here we are looking at Plaza de Los Angeles, and around the corner is the famous Callejón del Beso, and you can access that callejón also through the back where this car is coming. you can go all the way around, and that's where you will find Callejón del Beso. So over there, maybe by those trees, I don't know if you can get to see it, but that's where you find Mercado Hidalgo. So we are really, really close to that area. And these videos are a way to show you what's available and how like the distances, because that's another comment we get a lot when we sometimes sell properties. It's always too far. But if you saw, callejones are like a maze. You feel like a rat trying to find your way back. At the first times is really funny when you get lost. But is that only is maybe a trick for your mind, because in reality everything is super near. And also I want to mention that in general I do not change the speed in this video, so that you can really get to see the time that it takes you to walk around a neighborhood. Right there is another main street, is where you can find Plaza de la Paz, but I'm gonna take this road, which is Alonso. And Alonso, pretty much all of the properties that you will find in Alonso are businesses. Very, very few houses. I think there's one right there. It has been for sale on the market for a long, long time. Probably even before the pandemic, maybe like 2018. But it needs a lot of remodeling, and the price was really, really high, because the location is good, but prices were a bit crazy. So all those callejones you see right there is exactly where I was walking through. And it's probably like a minute to get to the callejones on that side. And this is the main road. This street has some really nice hotels. This used to be a hostel, and I remember on these windows on the outside there were some stores. I think they used to sell baby clothes stores, but now it's a very, very pretty hotel. It's been open probably for like around a year, and I've seen pictures online. It's really, really pretty. They did a really good job. There's a lot of bars also on this street. Coffee shops, bars, restaurants, so that's gonna affect with the noise. So if you really want to live in this area, like on the callejones I was showing you on the back, you will need to be ready to invest in very, very good windows that cancel noise, because it's gonna be a constant issue. Many times we recommend people, when they are first coming to Guanajuato and they want to live in Centro, to rent a place, maybe for a year, and that way they can really experience what it would be like. And if it's great for them, this is the location they want to be, then you can commit to buying a house. But we don't recommend people buying a house in Centro right away. unless you have been coming to the city for many years, or you already have been here and for your lifestyle this is the place you want to be, then we totally recommend it, because you are right in the middle of everything, and it's very convenient that way. But like everything in real estate, you will be paying for the location. And we are back to Jardín Unión. And this was a very short video, but I hope you find this information useful and it can give you more, if you are doing your research, more data. And that was it for today. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, any comments. We love to hear from you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.